John always envisioned a life beyond the demanding pace of California. At 35, he felt the weight of a monotonous corporate job pressing down on him, fueling a longing for something more fulfilling. This desire was more than a simple fantasy. It was a deep-seated need for change, for a fresh start in an unknown land filled with possibilities. The picturesque beaches, vibrant culture, and welcoming spirit of the Philippines beckoned him as he scoured the internet for alternatives to his mundane reality. The idea of starting anew, away from the flickering city lights and endless to-do lists, was intoxicating. He imagined waking up to the sound of waves crashing against the shore, surrounded by a community that celebrated life's simple pleasures. That initial thrill made him feel as if he were on the precipice of his greatest adventure. What drove John to this particular choice? Perhaps it was the insatiable quest for a profound connection with himself and others that was missing in his life. He yearned for authentic relationships, for experiences that went beyond the superficial exchanges that defined his current lifestyle. This dream, however, was not without its doubts. Could he truly immerse himself in a culture so different from his own? He spent weeks planning, researching everything from the language to social customs, desperately trying to craft an image of what his new life would look like. His excitement soared as he packed his bags, ready to leave behind not just a job but a life stripped of meaning. Arriving in Cebu was a dizzying whirlwind of sensations. What he expected to be paradise quickly morphed into a series of harsh realities. The noise, the heat, and the vibrant chaos of the streets overwhelmed him. Communication became an arduous task. The language barrier felt more daunting than he had anticipated. Despite his efforts to learn Tagalog, basic exchanges became mired in confusion, leaving him frustrated and isolated. It struck him that his dreams of easily integrating into this new culture were not as close as he had imagined. The friendliness he had anticipated from locals was often masked by the challenges of misunderstanding and social customs that left him feeling like an outsider. Financially, his expectations were shattered. John had calculated a budget that seemed adequate, but soon realized that living expenses were piling up in unexpected ways. Although he thought life would be cheaper, he discovered that basic necessities quickly eroded his savings. The delicious meals he excitedly anticipated at local eateries became a cause for concern. He felt the pressure mounting. Every peso mattered now more than ever, and the freedom he thought he had was being suffocated by financial anxiety. As days turned into weeks, loneliness seeped into his bones. He missed the camaraderie of friends who understood him and shared his experiences. Each night spent in solitude magnified the ache of his decision to leave behind everything that was familiar. Reflecting on the photographs he had seen of idyllic beaches and vibrant festivals, the reality he faced felt starkly different. Was this the life he had longed for, or was it merely an illusion? In these moments of despair, John began to question his choices. What had driven him to abandon everything for this? Was it sheer desperation for change? Or was there a deeper calling, one that required him to confront the loneliness he now faced? Despite all the challenges, there was a flicker of hope deep within him. He wondered if perhaps he needed to shift his perspective, to seek companionship and understanding in an unfamiliar landscape. Could there be a way to rewrite his narrative? Could he learn to navigate this new life rather than merely survive it? Overwhelmed but not yet defeated, John clung to the belief that he could find his place in this world. It was a pivotal moment, one that demanded introspection. Instead of succumbing to the fear of failure, he resolved to take proactive steps toward forging connections. With every challenge he faced, there was an opportunity to grow, to learn more about humility, resilience, and adaptability. He remembered the stories of others who had ventured down similar paths, who had transformed their trials into triumphs. Surely he could find his way too. Finally, John took a deep breath and made a silent promise to himself. He would seek friendships, reach out to others, and immerse himself in the culture with a renewed sense of vigor. If he could foster even a small connection, it might be the key to unlocking the beauty of his new life. With the sun setting behind him, casting golden rays across the ocean, John clung to the hope that beyond the challenges lay a life richer than he had previously known. With determination fueling his spirit, John set out to reinvent his life in the Philippines. The initial phase of overwhelming uncertainties was giving way to a newfound resolve. He realized that isolation was a trap he had to escape, and the antidote lay in seeking connections. So he began to venture beyond his four walls. The warm, inviting smiles of the locals called to him, and he made a point to visit bustling markets and street fairs, immersing himself in the vibrancy that surrounded him. One day at a nearby market, John met a vendor selling fresh mangoes. Her name was Liza, and her laughter was infectious. As he struck up a conversation about the fruits, they discovered they shared a love for travel. Liza began sharing tales of her adventures across various islands in the Philippines, painting vivid pictures of the breathtaking landscapes and rich cultural experiences. Captivated, John felt the growing warmth of connection. This was precisely the exchange he craved. With every conversation, his apprehensions about language began to fade as the joy of connection replaced his earlier fears. Inspired by newfound friendships, John decided to take a Tagalog class to improve his language skills. It was a small local school where students ranged from expatriates to locals eager to learn English. Sitting in that classroom, surrounded by diverse voices and laughter, he started to feel the threads of community stitching together. The instructor, a charismatic woman named Tessa, had a gift for making the language come alive. She incorporated games, songs, and cultural anecdotes into her lessons, allowing John to connect words with life, bridging the gap between mere vocabulary and genuine understanding. As days turned into weeks, it became apparent that the classroom wasn't just a place for learning. It was where barriers began to dissolve. John formed bonds with his classmates, sharing not only linguistic challenges, but also stories of their lives. He was surprised at how quickly he bonded with his peers. The shared experience of navigating a new culture fostered camaraderie. Could this be what he had been missing? That sense of belonging, of being part of something larger than himself, filled him with hope. One evening, after class, a small group of students decided to grab dinner together. Among them was Maria, the vibrant Filipina he had met at the expatriate gathering. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and John felt a spark of excitement whenever he was around her. As they dined on adobo and sinigang, laughter echoed through the restaurant. And for the first time since arriving, John genuinely felt like he was home. Sharing stories over comfort food transformed mere acquaintances into friends, creating a deep sense of connection that he craved. Reflecting on these moments, John wondered how quickly things had changed. How did he go from feeling lost and lonely to surrounded by people who appreciated him? It was a poignant reminder that life has a way of surprising us, often when we least expect it. Yet, he remained aware of the fragility of these moments. Life could shift at any time. Would he be able to hold on to this newfound joy? As his social circle expanded, John found himself immersing deeper into the culture that initially intimidated him. The vibrant festivals, the sweet sounds of traditional music, and the joyful chaos of community gatherings ignited a passion within him. Whether it was joining in a local fiesta or simply enjoying a sunset by the beach with friends, he felt the pulse of the country invigorating him. Every interaction became an opportunity for discovery. What lay beyond the borders of his past life was a tapestry of experiences waiting to be woven into the fabric of his journey. However, with every rise in his spirits came fleeting shadows of insecurity. Would he always feel like an outsider? As he thrived in new friendships, there lingered a question that haunted him. Was this a temporary respite, or would he be able to sustain this happiness? The duality of his experience reminded him that while he was building new ties, he was also redefining his identity, a mixture of who he had been and who he was becoming. As weeks morphed into months, John began volunteering at a local nonprofit organization focused on education for children in underserved communities. The experience was humbling as he interacted with bright-eyed children eager to learn. Their joy was contagious and served as a poignant reminder of why he had come to this beautiful country in the first place. Could it be that his journey was not just about finding himself, but also about giving back? Each time he stepped into the classroom, he felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. Helping others began to weave deeper meaning into his life, and he realized the valuable lessons he learned from these children were profound. They taught him about gratitude, resilience, and the unfettered joy that came from simple moments. John also felt a budding romantic connection with Maria. Their friendship had grown richer and deeper, filled with shared experiences, laughter, and mutual respect. As they exchanged stories about their lives, hopes, and dreams, John couldn't help but feel a spark of something more between them. There was warmth in her presence that filled gaps he didn't know existed. As they explored the city hand in hand, he often pondered, was this the connection he had been seeking all along? Was love waiting for him in this vibrant place? Each dawn seemed to bring new possibilities, reminding him that life in the Philippines was a tapestry woven with rich experiences, friendships, cultural insights, and the promise of love. The questions he pondered became tools for growth rather than sources of doubt. The journey was tough, but he was learning to embrace both the struggles and joys along the way. He began to understand that adapting to a new life required patience and openness, a willingness to absorb, accept, and grow. As he gazed across the horizon one evening, watching the sun set over the tranquil waters, John reflected on how far he had come from the lonely figure who first arrived. The fears that once consumed him were being replaced by hope and connection. The future shimmered with potential, and for the first time he felt a sense of belonging that he believed he had only dreamt of. What came next? Only time would reveal that, but he was ready to embrace the adventures ahead. As he settled further into his new life, John found himself grappling with a pivotal realization. He needed a source of stability that would illuminate his path forward. This epiphany transformed into a quest to discover not just an identity rooted in friendships and cultural immersion, but also a solid foundation upon which to build his future. The excitement of new experiences was exhilarating, but there was something deeper that he craved: purpose, one that could sustain him through the inevitable ups and downs of life. The idea of finding a source of passion led him back to his early dreams of entrepreneurship. Before moving to the Philippines, John had often fantasized about starting his own business, one that could merge his background in technology with a love for travel and culture. He saw the potential for a venture that could not only support him financially but also contribute to the communities he had grown to love. As he pondered on this idea, he wondered, what if he could create something that offered valuable resources to travelers while also benefiting local businesses? This spark of an idea ignited a fire within him. John's mind raced as he envisioned a platform that would help tourists discover hidden gems and local experiences while also promoting small businesses. He could connect travelers with locals like Liza and Maria, showcasing authentic experiences that standard tourism often overlooked. Could this be the source of purpose he was looking for? It was a way to bridge two worlds, offering visitors a true taste of the Philippines while supporting the local economy. To solidify his vision, John began conducting research. Armed with a notepad, he spent hours at cafes, visiting popular tourist spots, and exploring lesser-known neighborhoods. He documented what made each experience unique, from mouth-watering street food to breathtaking views hitherto undiscovered by most tourists. He engaged locals in conversation, asking them what they thought travelers most needed to appreciate their culture fully. This immersion was invigorating. Each new insight fueled his determination and conviction that he was onto something significant. As he shared his ideas with friends, they responded with enthusiasm and encouragement. Maria, excited by the prospect of being involved in John's venture, offered to help him connect with local artisans and business owners. Their collaboration became a source of joy. Working together strengthened their bond, intertwining their lives in new and meaningful ways. Each interaction with the locals deepened John's understanding of the vibrant culture, enhancing the authenticity of the platform he envisioned. But soon, challenges began to surface. Starting a business required resources, capital, and a clear strategy. John found himself wading through complicated regulations, market research, and the art of crafting a compelling business plan. These tasks filled him with a mix of excitement and anxiety. What if he failed? What did he really know about entrepreneurship? Despite these doubts, he persisted. John understood that the fear of failure could not overshadow the possibility of success, nor could it extinguish the warmth of hope that had been reignited in his life. He began attending local workshops on entrepreneurship and networking events designed for budding business owners. It was during one of these events that he met a mentor named Antonio, a successful Filipino entrepreneur who had built a thriving tourism business from the ground up. Antonio's story resonated with John. He too had faced hurdles, but emphasized the importance of resilience and adaptation. Every setback is merely an opportunity for a comeback. Antonio shared, his eyes sparkling with conviction. You must embrace each challenge as part of your journey. This idea struck a chord within John. It was a reminder that growth often stemmed from discomfort, and with each lesson learned, he would inch closer to realizing his dream. As he worked through the complexities of his business model, John's attention shifted to the foundational principles he wanted to embed in his venture. It was essential for him to ensure that the platform was not just about profit, but also about sustainability and respect for the local culture. He envisioned a system where interactions would foster genuine connections and create lasting memories for travelers. This would be a platform that valued authenticity over superficial experiences, reflecting the very essence of the Philippines itself. While brainstorming ideas for the name of the platform, he realized he wanted it to evoke a sense of belonging and evoke a journey of discovery. After days of contemplation, he settled on the name Local. a nod to the term that signified local connections and experiences. It resonated with him, capturing the essence of what he wanted to create. With this name came a sense of clarity. John felt as though he were finally channeling his passion into something tangible. It became a source that fueled his aspirations, igniting a fire to push through every challenge that lay ahead. Empowered by this newfound purpose, John felt a surge of creativity and energy. He began sketching out the website's design, mapping out the user experience, researching marketing strategies, and developing a timeline for launching Local. Each step felt like a leap toward his future, woven with the threads of his dreams and the culture he had come to cherish. Yet, amid this flurry of activity, John couldn't help but reflect on the deeper implications of his journey. Was this new venture merely a means to an end, or was it an expression of his evolving self? The more he delved into the local culture and interacted with the vibrant people around him, the more he realized that Local could serve as a connection between travelers and the rich tapestry of Filipino life. This endeavor allowed him to share his love for the Philippines while also contributing to the communities that welcomed him with open arms. As days turned into weeks, those early feelings of isolation transformed into a profound sense of belonging, a realization that he could be a part of the Philippines' rich narrative while carving out his own. The heart of his business was not solely about tourism. It was about fostering understanding and respect for the very essence of the places and people that shaped his journey. Sitting side by side with Maria and envisioning the future gave him hope he had never fully embraced before. Under the vast Philippine sky painted with stars, John felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. He had stumbled upon his source, the essence of his purpose, intertwined with the friendships he had forged. There was no doubt life would continue to present challenges, yet he was prepared to navigate them with a heart full of passion and a mind set on success. Every sunset brought a promise of a new day, and with it, countless opportunities to explore, connect, and grow. As John's vision for Local began to take shape, he immersed himself in networking within the local tourism industry. He attended meetings with various stakeholders, including hoteliers, local guides, and artisans, all while sharing his concept of promoting authentic Filipino experiences. The excitement in the room was palpable, as he painted the picture of a platform that could not only connect travelers with locals, but also cultivate sustainable tourism that benefited the community. However, as enthusiasm swelled, reality nagged at the edges of John's optimism. He quickly learned that launching a business in a foreign country came with its own set of complexities, bureaucratic hurdles, cultural nuances, and the challenge of building trust within a community that had seen its share of transient entrepreneurs. The fear of rejection lingered. What if locals weren't interested in his vision? The pressure of ensuring that Local would succeed weighed heavily on his shoulders. Taking a deep breath, he sought advice from Antonio, his mentor, who had experienced similar doubts. "Remember, John," Antonio advised, "creating relationships is the backbone of any business. It takes time and commitment to earn trust, but you must be genuine in your approach. People can see through insincerity." This struck a chord with John. He realized he needed to step away from the business model and focus on building relationships that would sustain his venture. Determined, John decided to host a small gathering at a local community center. He invited local business owners, potential partners, and individuals he had met throughout his journey. A casual setting where everyone could enjoy food, music, and conversation would set the stage for a deeper connection. As he prepared for the event, he sought to create a comfortable environment, a warm invitation to share their stories, ideas, and aspirations. On the night of the gathering, John infused the atmosphere with local flavors. Delicious lumpia, sweet coconut tarts, and spicy adobo tantalized the senses of his guests. Liza, Maria, and other friends joined him, contributing to a vibrant ambiance filled with laughter and joy. What flowed more freely than the drinks or the food was the enthusiasm and shared sense of community that enveloped the space. As the evening progressed, John took the opportunity to share his vision for Local, emphasizing the importance of showcasing not just the tourism potential, but also the rich narratives that each person in the room carried. To his surprise, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Business owners shared their stories of challenges and triumphs, offering their insights and support. The stories of creativity and resilience fueled John's resolve and gave him renewed clarity. A local artisan named Marco, who created intricate wood carvings inspired by Filipino landscapes, stood up and spoke passionately about his craft. "People want authenticity," he said. "Not just souvenirs. They want to take a piece of our story home with them." John felt the energy in the room shift. It was as if everyone was united in their shared commitment to promoting local culture and authenticity. This was the collaboration he needed, the essence of what Local could achieve. Inspired by the discussions that evening, John realized he had to invite these voices to become integral parts of his platform. Instead of solely promoting businesses, Local could be a conduit for storytelling, sharing not just experiences but the narratives that made each place unique. However, this would mean changing his approach and designing a platform that prioritized partnerships over promotions. Determined to develop a platform that embodied these ideas, John spent the following weeks refining his business model. He reached out to Liza and Maria for their insights, opening the floor to their suggestions. Did they feel the same enthusiasm for deeper connections? What stories did they believe would resonate with potential travelers? Their responses were invaluable, encouraging John to pivot toward a community-driven model that relied on the voices of locals. As part of this new strategy, John planned regular community events to keep locals involved, fostering a sense of shared ownership over Local. It was essential to create a cycle of cooperation rather than a top-down approach. He envisioned workshops where locals could showcase their skills, cooking classes, handicraft demonstrations, and storytelling sessions, giving visitors a chance to not only observe but actively participate in the culture. The excitement surrounding this approach permeated John's life. He felt invigorated, as though he had tapped into something powerful and transformative. As he watched the beauty of collaboration unfold, he began to see himself not just as a business owner, but as a facilitator of experiences that connected lives across different backgrounds. This sense of purpose solidified a profound shift within him. He was no longer just an outsider trying to forge a path in an unfamiliar land. He was becoming an integral part of the community's pulse. Amid the hustle of launching Local, John's relationship with Maria blossomed further. They often collaborated, brainstorming ideas for incorporating cultural elements into the events. Her passion for storytelling added depth to the platform's vision, and their shared laughter felt effortless. The more they worked together, the more apparent it became that they complemented each other. It was not merely a partnership in business, but a partnership in life. One sunny afternoon, while walking along the beach, they discussed their dreams under a canopy of swaying palm trees. The waves lapping against the shore provided a soothing backdrop as Maria suggested integrating a section of the platform solely for sharing local folklore and legends. People come to learn, to connect with history. Our stories are rich and vibrant, just like our culture, she said. John listened intently, captivated by her passion. This infectious enthusiasm propelled their ambitions outward, crafting a vision of Local that transcended mere tourism. As summer approached, John knew they were getting closer to launching a beta version of the platform. The community was enthusiastic, willing to lend their support, ensuring Local was not simply a business, but a movement that would honor the beauty of local culture. Fueled by excitement and a collective sense of ownership, they continued to work hard, refining each feature, ensuring every detail aligned with their vision of connection and community. And yet, uncertainty still loomed over John. He frequently found himself asking if his passion would translate into success. Would this venture really resonate with travelers? What if local businesses didn't benefit in the way he hoped? Those nagging questions crept in now and then, causing him to pause and reflect. Yet, as he embraced feedback and continued networking, he found that his worries transformed into motivations. The relationships he forged bolstered his belief that each voice contributed to a more profound narrative. Standing on the precipice of launching Local, John felt a myriad of emotions swirling within him: anticipation, excitement, fear, and gratitude. It was a thrilling moment, a culmination of hard work and collaboration. With every challenge faced and every connection made, he learned that this journey was about more than business. It was about creating a community, crafting a new home, and finding his place in a world that had once felt so foreign. Chapter 5. As the launch day for Local approached, John felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The platform he envisioned was no longer just an abstract concept. It was a living entity filled with the collective voices of the community, ready to share the rich tapestry of Filipino culture with the world. The support he had garnered from local businesses, artisans, and friends had been incredible. They all believed in his vision, encouraging him as the countdown to the launch grew shorter. To build the anticipation, John organized a community event to celebrate the launch. He chose a picturesque venue-in outdoor space by the beach where the sun kissed the horizon, a perfect backdrop for a gathering that embodied the spirit of Local. The event would provide a sneak peek of what the platform had to offer, allowing locals to showcase their crafts, talents, and stories to the guests. It would be a celebration not just of a business launch, but of the community he had come to love. In the weeks leading up to the event, John worked tirelessly with Maria and Liza to finalize details. They reached out to musicians, arranged food stalls featuring local delicacies, and curated a lineup of local storytellers who would share their culture and legends. Every interaction reinforced the idea that Local was about more than just promoting tourism. It was about honoring the people and stories that made the Philippines unique. As the day of the launch arrived, John rose early, his heart racing with anticipation. He arrived at the venue, the soft breeze carrying the scent of salt and adventure. The sun glinted off the ocean, casting dancing reflections on the water. Setting up was a labor of love-hanging vibrant banners, arranging tables filled with crafts, and ensuring that each corner of the space radiated warmth and hospitality. With each passing hour, people began to trickle in. Locals gathered to support one another, and the energy in the air was electric. John took a moment to step back and absorb the scene, the laughter, the vibrant colors of handmade products, and the sounds of traditional music floated through the air. This was the essence of Local, bursting with life and connectedness. As the crowd grew, John took to the stage to welcome everyone. With a lump in his throat, he spoke from his heart about the journey that led him here, his struggles, the friendships he had formed, and the rich culture that had welcomed him. Today, we're not just launching a platform. We're celebrating our stories and our connections, he said, looking into the faces of his friends and newfound community. The applause that followed filled him with gratitude and reminded him of how far he had come. The event unfolded beautifully. Liza led a cooking demonstration on how to prepare traditional lumpia, while local musicians filled the atmosphere with enchanting melodies. Maria captivated the audience with her storytelling, recounting tales steeped in Filipino folklore that transported listeners to another time. Each experience showcased the authenticity and vibrancy of local culture that Local aimed to promote. As the day progressed, John noticed groups of tourists mingling with locals, exchanging stories and laughter. A couple admired a stunning piece of handcrafted jewelry made by a local artisan named Helen, who beamed with pride as she explained her inspiration. Food stalls bustled, filled with patrons enjoying delicious dishes while forming new connections. It was exactly what John had envisioned in an evening where culture was not only shared, but celebrated. As dusk fell and the sun dipped below the horizon, casting warm hues across the sky, John took a minute to breathe deeply and soak in the moment. He felt a profound sense of belonging. For the first time, he realized he had created not just a business, but a community where every voice mattered. It was as if all his efforts had materialized into a vibrant tapestry, woven from the stories of those who called this place home. The culmination of the evening was a soft glow of lights strung across the venue, illuminating the smiles and warmth that filled the air. The crowd gathered around for the final show, where Maria introduced the concept of Local. She spoke about the platform and how it could create a bridge between travelers and locals, fostering a deeper understanding of culture and tradition. A shared sentiment echoed through the crowd. This was a collective journey they were embarking on together. As the event wound down, John felt a magnetic pull of appreciation towards everyone who had supported him. He knew this was just the beginning. While the launch of Local was a significant milestone, the real work was ahead. He and his community needed to ensure that the platform fulfilled its mission to promote genuine connections and create sustainable growth for local businesses and traditions. In the following weeks, as the website went live, John found himself in a whirlwind of activity. It was exhilarating yet daunting. He needed to establish partnerships, market the platform, and continually engage with the community. With every passing day, the growing excitement among locals reinvigorated his passion. They eagerly contributed ideas, shared their experiences, and promoted Local on social media, helping to amplify their collective voice. However, as the initial thrill began to settle, John faced new challenges. The logistics of managing the website, ensuring quality content, and maintaining consistent engagement began to stretch him thin. He had to navigate the balance between maintaining community relations while also ensuring that the platform was user-friendly and appealing to travelers. One evening, while working late on some marketing strategies, John received a message from Antonio encouraging him to take a step back and regain perspective. Remember, John, building a community takes time. Keep listening to your people and let them guide you. They are your best asset. His words resonated with John, reminding him that success wasn't solely measured by website traffic or revenue, but by the connections nurtured along the way. With renewed perspective, John announced a series of community workshops focused on storytelling and marketing, inviting locals to share their experiences and ideas on how they believed local could best serve them. Rather than pushing his vision upon them, he wanted to cultivate an environment where they could share openly. This shift towards collaborative input ignited a resurgence of creativity. Ideas flowed as everyone contributed stories, experiences, and suggestions. As he worked alongside the community, his connections deepened. Friends became family, and relationships flourished. Maria and John often collaborated in developing new content, organizing events, and brainstorming ways to improve the platform. Their evenings filled with laughter and conversation blurred the lines between work and personal life, nurturing the romance that had blossomed between them. One evening, while sitting on the beach, John turned to Maria with contemplative eyes. "Do you think we're building something that will last?" "I sometimes worry about the future." Maria smiled at him, her gaze steady. "Of course we will. We're not just creating a business, we're nurturing a culture, a way of life. Look at what we've already accomplished. It's about the connections we make and how we help each other grow." Her words resonated deeply. She echoed the very essence of what Local was all about. Renewed by her belief, he felt reassured that their path encompassed more than business. This journey was personal, interwoven with their community and the lives they touched. As they walked back, the sea breeze wrapped around them, signaling an adventure filled with endless opportunities for growth and connection. John realized he was no longer just a visitor in the Philippines. He was a vital part of its story, a bridge between cultures, experiences, and dreams. The realization filled him with hope, knowing that as long as they stayed true to their mission, Local would thrive, serving as a vessel for shared understanding and appreciation. With every passing day, John embraced the beauty of uncertainty, welcoming the challenges that lay ahead with an open heart. Together with Maria and the community, they were ready to navigate the uncharted waters of their journey, forever committed to weaving their stories into a vibrant tapestry of connection and culture.